Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So let's start with Pesh. I can go first.
Okay.
Okay, so physically, I am a 4.5. Emotionally, I am a 4.5. Spiritually, a 4. And hope, I am a 4.25. And my word is time.
So physically, I am 4. Emotionally, 4. Spirit, 4.3. Hope, 3.75. And my word is traveling.
Okay. So today's topic is navigating the unknown. It is a topic that, it's very broad, right? The unknown is very broad. And it's something that we have touched on before, but it's something that we will continue to revisit, not just ourselves, but everyone in our lives. And navigating the unknown is one of those things that is um, consistently inconsistent, especially when it comes to a cancer journey. Kind of the moment you know you're on a cancer journey, there's these like not blinders that come on, but this like tunnel experience of like getting to the end and having to navigate everything that comes through. Um, and not knowing what the final product will be. And we live in such a culture of wanting to know constantly what we're getting into before we agree to it, and constantly of just wanting to understand better, which is not a bad thing, but it definitely, there is that desire for the balance of both. Um, I know what I'm getting into and I know what to expect, but also how do we navigate what we don't know?
Right. And along with that, hear it all the time, is the fear of the unknown. It's that just as you said, I need to control. I need to feel like I've got my arms around what's going to happen. And the truth is, the future is always unknown. Always. None of us know. The crystal balls may even be wrong. I mean, when we think about the weather people who are the meteorologists who are out there trying to predict what the weather is going to be based on, scientific technology, this and that, it's still not a perfect science. And so we're always going to have that not knowing of the future. And so, wow, when we bring it into a cancer journey, it's more like, what do I have to hold on to? How can I make it through this if I don't know what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Or what I'm going to experience, right? Because for people who are on a cancer journey, it doesn't always look the same, right? It doesn't usually have that same framework of like diagnosis, treatment. Hopefully, we can ring the bell at the end, and sometimes we don't, but we don't really know what that looks like for each person. The treatment is different for each person. There's so many different types of cancer that the duration, the length, and what the actual treatment is vary. And some people don't go through the traditional routes of being in hospital and being with oncologists. Some people use different kinds of practitioners based on what they think really will work best for them. And so there is this whole investigation and research, and depending on the type of person you are, the kind of research you do will be dependent on that. So it becomes really scary, really. And I
Absolutely.
want to go back to that fear you're talking about, because you're right. It's not just navigating the unknown and not knowing what's going to come up, but it's the fear that the fear that something bad is going to happen, or the fear that you're going to do something wrong. And I think a lot of navigating the unknown and the fear there lies in a lack of trust in ourselves, and the understanding that we have all the resources we already will need to be able to um, help us along the way. Because sometimes
Right.
we think that there's some secret, unknown, like secret recipe to get through it all, to make it as painless as possible. Um, And I completely understand that fear. I completely understand the avoidance of the pain. Um, but there's a degree of like needing it to be unknown to really
Right.
authentically um approach whatever situation you're in.
Right. Which goes back to a concept that we hold so near and dear, and we so solidly try to have everyone embrace it because we can't control the future. We can only control right now. I mean, we look at the past, the present, and the future. We talk about the future all the time. It's like, what's going to happen? How are we going to do that? What am I going to plan? What's my strategy? And then we look at the past, it's already happened. So the best that we can do with the past is to look at it from this place of what's the learning from that? What's the experience giving me? How did it add to my knowing so that I can be better prepared for perhaps whatever happens in the future? But the only place, only, I'm going to say it with exclamation points, place that we have any sense of power or agency or impact is right now. And it's so hard sometimes, oftentimes, to just be with right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I'm taught to look for the future or what's next. That's kind of like the automatic. We're even taught that in school. So it's kind of ingrained at a really early age. But just being with right now can impact the future. And so that's the rub. That's the lesson. That's the learning, especially on a cancer journey is I'm here now. What's that mean? What does
Yeah.
that mean on an existential uh, standpoint? It's like, so I'm here now. This is my life. I'm living in this moment. How do I be with that? And if you can get out of that whole part that I was talking about, the school learning, the planning for the future, there could be joy. There could be delight. There could be a lot of positive or uplifting or expansive emotions and actions and just being.
Yeah.
If I go to the future now, then I've all of a sudden, I'm always focused on what could be the worst thing that happens in preparation. And now I'm out of the present moment. I'm not having impact and I'm worrying. So when we find ourselves in worry or fear or confusion or any of those kind of the middle emotions where it's like I don't really have my arms around this. I feel swirly and whirly. Also could be the constricting emotions. It's like stop. What's going on right now? What's here for us?
So two pieces of our curriculum come up as you're going through this for me is that it's perspective and also
Mhm.
can and cannot control. So as you're speaking about like present versus future, I feel like the focus is on present versus future. When we're focused on the future and what might happen, so I'm seeing this as like um almost like a pack mule, right? And having all your like your bags full of all your resources and your supplies and your food and anything you could possibly need. Maybe you can think about it as like packing for travel or something like that. But the image of a pack mule came to mind for me. When you're focused on the future, what you're doing is you're constantly checking these bags. You're checking everything on you. You're like, okay, do I have that? Did I bring a toothbrush? Did I bring an extra toothbrush? Like anything that could possibly go wrong. And so that's where you're at in that active, like, do I have that? Is it okay? What could go wrong? Do I have it covered? Can I handle it? Have I handled something like that before? All of those thoughts. When you're being in the present, your bags are packed. What's in there is in there. And you're moving. You're traveling and you're experiencing everything around you, like you're actively moving through this space of travel. Maybe you're in a new environment and so then you get to then enjoy what's coming up for you and then like say it starts to rain. Oh, I already packed an umbrella. I have it at my arsenal, so I now have it ready to go because now it's starting to rain. Instead of, oh god, it might rain. I need an umbrella and a poncho and whatever, and then it not rain, and then you don't have all that. You know what I mean? And then you have all that for a
Right.
reason. Why did you worry about it? So that's the perspective shift to me. It's like just trust that you have the resources. You've been through the rain before. You've traveled before. You've been through hard things. We all have been through hard things in our life. You have the resources you need. And there's also the trust that if you don't have what you need, you're going to figure it out. You're a very resourceful person.
Yes.
We say you're creative, resourceful, and whole. And so, as you navigate your journey with the focus on the present, whatever comes up, snowstorm, Rocky Mountain, whatever it is, you either have the resources to navigate it as you did before, or you'll figure it out along the way. You'll ask for help when you need it because while, it is your choice and you are on this journey, you have other people that can help you. They're not carrying you, but they can help you along the way, in small bits, especially when you let them.
Yeah. And you said that big T word, trust. Trust that me, have the resources that I need. And that one of the resources could easily be I have a voice to ask for what I need. Doesn't mean that I have to gather or be the one that provides everything for myself, but I have these resources and I need to use them. And so if it's this moment and I didn't bring an umbrella, then I be in the rain. And I know that there's been so many times where I love this as an analogy where you said I didn't bring an umbrella. It was a torrential downpour and I was just in it. I got home. I was completely soaked down to my underwear. And so that happened. But it is, and you said another thing, perspective. It's how you hold that, how you look at that. If you choose to say, oh, this is the most horrible thing, and look, I'm all wet and I'm cold and I don't like this, that's one perspective. And guess what? You're going to see the world in that energy.
Hmm.
Ew, ugly, bad, boo. But if you're like, okay, we needed this rain, it's feeding the planet in so many ways. For instance, we need water to survive, much more than we need food. So, hey, life is coming down and filling our reservoirs so that I can sustain life. And so does nature, and nature's there to provide sustenance for the plants that give me oxygen so I can, I mean, it's like if we step back and just enjoy and think about the system that's there and how everything plays together and how I can change my perspective, the way that I look at my situation. Oh my goodness. From boo, ugly, horrible, I'm wet and cold to life is being sustained. That's like two completely different ways of looking at your situation, the
And those
present
are only
moment.
two.
Right.
Yeah, there's as many as you can possibly want, and it's actually quite fun to think of more than two because it's not black or white. It's, all of them, go to the extremes, go to the not so extremes, and really give yourself the opportunity to stand in that perspective and be like, what would I do if I felt that this was the perspective I want to stand in, or this one, or this one? And it takes that slowing down pause that we always recommend, but it also, so I know that perspectives is a big tool within CJI. A little more pop culture wise, Kiki Palmer, if you're familiar with her, who's like, I think she's brilliant. I love her. She's hilarious and just like so charismatic. But one of the things that she says is that she's like the queen of the reframe, right? Like if in a
Mm.
given situation, she calls that shift in perspective her reframe. So say she didn't get a job or something or didn't get a role, she would change her perspective to be like, that role just wasn't for me. It was for someone else and my time's coming, but that wasn't it. And even just small tweaks like that, or thinking of the change of perspective as a reframe, have whatever you want to call it, allows you to better understand that like what is meant to be is happening, and that at the end of the day we really don't have control over like what has been decided without us, or things that are not in our control, and it allows us to have freedom and hope and joy for whatever can come next without forcing it. And maybe it can give you a little more drive into what you really want, right? Like you didn't get what you wanted, okay, you can continue to put energy towards what you want, knowing that what you didn't get wasn't meant for you.
Yes. I like that you brought that in. Queen of the reframe. I used to say that I'm the queen of do-overs, and I'm going to relate that to the cancer journey. It's obviously I've been through many cancer journeys. And what I like about do-overs is you're going down one path. You do what you think you want to do, or what seems to happen. And then at some point you might realize, oh, that's not working. Or, oops, that was a mistake. We can actually put brakes on that. That's one of the resources that we have. Put brakes on that. For me, it was the treatment that I was on. It was not working. It made me feel like crap. My body wasn't responding. It was actually going the opposite direction. And I was the only one who felt that and knew that. So I had to go to my oncologist and say, this isn't working and I don't like it. And of course, they were like, trying to tell me to stay on this particular treatment. And so I would like try to be a good patient, and I did. So, it wasn't like, oh, I tried it once and I'm abandoning it. I'm like, I tried it and then still same results. And then I tried it again and I'm like, this isn't working. And it was me standing up for what I wanted and said, no, this isn't working. So let's do it over. Let's try something else. That was the right call. But I think that so often on a cancer journey, especially when you're dealing with your medical team, who are the authorities on, this is the treatment, we've been educated, we have experience in this. They're not in your body. Just like you said, everyone is unique. Every cancer experience is unique. My 5 different ones were all unique. None of them were the same. And so being able to speak up with my own resources and say, wait a minute, in this moment, I know what's happening and it's not working for me. Actually, it's working against me. And being able to ask for what I want and say no. It takes a lot of courage because they're going to say things like, you need this, and they'll bring up the worst, it's going to progress and you're going to die. Okay, nobody wants to go for that option, but I'm living right now. And if I've tried it and I know that it's not working, I think I would be foolish to keep on going for
Mm-hmm.
me. And I'm listening to me now.
um which is also a reframe, a change of perspective, and it's also the redo is knowing that you have more than one option. It's not just this is the treatment and that's it. It's both noticing that this isn't working for me, I need a change and I need to do something different, and changing the trajectory of like the path that you're on because this one is not working for you. And even just saying that is enough to explore what other options there are. But also just it's so often, especially when it comes to treatment, that doctors can say, this is what we recommend, period. It's not, here are all of your options and how each one, I mean, I'm sure you could ask for that. I'm sure maybe some doctors do, but there's always going to be a recommendation that feels almost like this is what you're supposed to choose from your care team, which, they are looking out for you and they're going based on what they've experienced in the past, and that's why it's recommended for you. But it's not recommended because it's specifically for you and how you're feeling in that moment, or physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, it's not meant to serve that piece. So it's your responsibility to let them know if it is or isn't. And you have more power than you realize in that, in any given moment, with choice and asking for what you want or what options are there, right? You don't have to swing into something you completely don't know without asking about it, especially if someone is suggesting that new route or this current route isn't working for you. You can still collect the information along the way, but navigating the unknown in its own in a large scale can feel really daunting. But it can feel a lot less daunting when you know what does or doesn't work for you and can start to articulate. I mean, it doesn't even have to be the most articulate explanation of like, okay, I'm feeling it here and here, and these are the words I'm going to use and my emotions and how I feel. It can really just be like, it's just not working. I feel awful, and I want to know what another option is. But it takes being in the present to do that, to even get there. Because when we're not in the present, tuned in with ourselves, we're willing to kind of take on anything and then code it in positivity because we're so avoidant to the negative aspects or what we consider negative or the ramifications of whatever we choose. And that's when it feels really good to be resourced when you don't know what could come up, even if you fear that it's going to be bad. You have resources, you have experience, and you have things that you can do to approach that. And maybe sometimes those bad things are there actually in service of you. Um, Sometimes things come with a little bit of pain, and they do, but sometimes it's the motivator to what comes next or what you need to change. Sometimes that bad, painful thing is that treatment, that first treatment that is doctor recommended, and you push through it as much as you can until you can't anymore. Um, and you push through with the resources you have until you're like, I'm depleted and holding on to this. My resource was that I was resilient and my resilience has faltered, and now I can't do it anymore. I need a change. And that's when you get that opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
It's a
Wow,
heavy
we brought
topic. It's a heavy topic.
yes,
It's very
and we
exhausting.
brought so many of the tools that we have. You know, we talked about present moment and really what that means and how to be in that. Emotions as being the messenger to let you know something's not working or something really is working. And isn't it amazing that if we just pause for a moment to go, oh, I'm feeling really constricted and tight. Huh, something's going on that I need to pay attention to. And when you're elated or extremely joyful or feel bliss, it's like something is going right. Let's look at that too and celebrate that. So leaning into a very simple thing like your emotions, how are you feeling? And oftentimes that when somebody's feeling down or depressed, it's because they're not listening to the totality, the whole of you. And it does help to have someone there that you can feel like you can say anything to and talk to and feel safe and entrusted in in that relationship. And if it isn't somebody that's there in your family, and remember, family and friends do have an agenda for you. They want you to be there. Where if you lean into one of our cancer journey coaches, we want you to live too, but we want you to live your best life. And for you to speak up that those with your resources and to speak to the people who can assist you and use the that resource of communications to communicate in the right way based on what's going on for you. And I love that. And that's why I created this because that's what I had. I had coaches that were there. They were my business partners and that was for corporate coaching, but they were still using the skills and tools of coaching. And I thought, I am so lucky to have this at my disposal. What about those who don't? And I think that's really clear why we're here and what we're offering. And so you can have this experience of having somebody 100% in your corner with no agenda. Doctors, medical teams have an agenda with no agenda whatsoever. Just there to be like your eternal support and champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that coaches are so important. They really are. Like you said, they have no agenda. You don't have to like kind of coddle and foster that relationship in the same way because there is this innate understanding that like we're here for you, the client. We're showing up for you. We're in service of you. And where otherwise, we've said this so many times, it can feel really selfish to be a client asking for all the attention to be on you for the entire session. But if you're not going to do that for yourself, who else is going to? It's you really need to be a little bit selfish, and it's not selfish, it's self first to um really want to grow, because your growth is your own responsibility. Your experience is your own responsibility, especially if you're having a bad experience. It's not everyone else's putting it on you and doing it to you. It's your responsibility to then take what you have and make a change to have a better experience for yourself, or to continue through it and persevere, so that you know that you can collect those resources along the way and those lessons that you're going to learn to help you then become the best version of yourself, or whoever you want to become, um, and however you want to handle those situations. I think, we talk about future so much, and present, we're almost making it sound easy to be present, but it's when we're in the present, when we figure out how to navigate those tense situations and making decisions, and trying not to be as reactionary, and being open to however we actually want to respond in that moment. I think that's what it is. It's not reacting, it's responding.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm going to throw out a really weird analogy, but um, I was talking to my sister just 2 days ago, and her husband is deep into dementia and Alzheimer's. So he only knows the present. I mean, he can remember way, 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 way back, but he can't remember what just happened 10 minutes ago. He doesn't know where he's going. Even if you tell him where you're going in the future, he doesn't know. And I said, wow, that's really interesting how we treat people who have this condition, and they only live in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, that's not what I want for everyone. I want everyone to have the full experience of past, present, and knowing that there could be a wonderful future. But just that they don't have a choice but to be in the present moment. And what we do is we denigrate them, and we put them in a corner, and I kind of ignore them. And it's kind of sad, where I want to celebrate the fact that they have this situation in them where they can only be in the present moment.
And they can only trust that they have the resources within, because they don't know they may not remember all the resources they have within them. They can only move forward with what they got in their bags.
Right. No umbrella.
No,
Okay,
no.
it's raining.
We're like, oh, it's raining.
Oh, so
But what
what's your
do you think?
takeaway?
Oh, my takeaway is um, we often navigate the unknown based on fear and misunderstanding, whereas I would love to move into the unknown with trust. For me, it's really like that is the equation. It's like fear of the unknown. To solve that, you just equal trust, which obviously isn't the easiest equation to apply to every situation. But I do feel like I have the resources I need to move forward with whatever situation. And if not, I'll figure it out, because I have trusted myself and my abilities, not just what I have in my arsenal. And it takes a long time to get there, and it is a constant practice to be playing with that. It's never a one and done. It's not like, okay, I packed my bags, let's go, and I never have to repack them or wonder what's going to happen. It's a constant journey to navigate the unknown, because the future and everything almost completely unknown. And what's also nice about the unknown, it's kind of like a blank canvas. You get to paint your own picture there. Um, so there's a lot of hope for me. So I think that's my word, is hope. And my Pesh is physically, I am a 4.5, emotionally a 4.5, spiritually a 4.25, and hope is a 4.25. And my word is hope.
Okay. My takeaway is how just this conversation has reconnected me again to the power of the present moment, the power of now, and the beauty of now. Like when we're talking about rain, it's like it sets a perspective. And that happens in this nanosecond, right? It's like, okay, I'm mad. And then if we can catch ourselves because we're in the present moment, I can shift how I choose to see that and how I choose to be in it. And I want more of that because I really can't control the future. I can fear it. I can hope for it. I can try to manifest what I want. It's okay to have goals, but know that even the weather people don't know what the weather's going to be like. They have hopes and percentages and some idea, but it's going to be what it is. And if I could stay in, that's going to take care of itself soon enough because I'll be in the future in the next moment. Let me be here. And we said in our last, was it the last or the 2 months ago, a podcast, we were talking about death and dying and how life is short. I can hold on to that and say, then let me make the best of what I have right now. And I can't be that conscious to make like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to be me. And I have to remember that instead of what other people want from me and instead of giving my power away. Ooh, this is a big takeaway because it's like, remember, this is your life, not anybody else. And only I can choose because I'm free. I have sovereignty. I have agency. What I want. Okay, so my word is alive, and my pesh is 4.2 for physical, emotionally, 4.3 spirit, 4.5, and my hope now is 4.2.
Well, thank you for joining us today for our episode of Navigating the Unknown, and we'll be back next week.
Have a lovely rest of your day, and remember, Alicia said it already today, you are more powerful than you realize.